Okay, so I have no idea how the quality is because I did a little bit of messing around with the camera settings. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi and welcome. And it is the time again for a wrap up. Usually if I watch these videos, I would like to know if people actually read their TBR. So at the beginning of this video or of these wrap-ups, I'm going to start doing that I will go through the books I had on my TBR and if I actually read them. So the first book I had on my October TBR was The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, and you can guess twice if I read it. No, I did not read that book. And then I had The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. Didn't read that one either, and you might guess that one because I literally put it on my November TBR. Then I think I had Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score on my TBR, and I didn't read this one either. Surprise! I don't think we're surprised. These are the books that I didn't read, and then I'll pile up books that I read on this pile. Then I put A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson on my TBR, and you guessed it, did not read this book. And I really need to read this because it's my friend's and I really need to get it back to her. And I'm like, I just need to read it because like literally it's not even that thick of a book. And then we had Magnolia Parks that has been on my TBR for like literal ages, and I've put this on like God knows how many TBRs, and I actually did read this one. I'm kind of fairly surprised. I'll talk about the book later, but right now I'll just go through the books quickly. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I think this is like honestly the most talked book of the year, and I actually did read this one. It is going to be featured in the video. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload it, it's still in the makes. I did finish that book. And that, I think that concludes my October TBR. Did read 2 of the 6 books on my TBR. But let's talk about the books that I actually read in October. So I started the month by reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm literally a Harry Potter lover. I love the films and I never have read the books. Like, I don't know if you have the same feeling that when you were younger you thought that they were massive and so long books and you just couldn't read them because they were so long, because I had that feeling, and it's like literally they're not that long. Sometimes I wondered how the heck is there going to be all the information in that book that was in the film, and I actually think that the film compares very well to the book because the book is obviously written first and then the film is made by the book, and I think they compare pretty well. Obviously there are some small differences, but I didn't mind them, and I usually like read the book first and then watch the TV show or film. But obviously I watched Harry Potter films a lot of times and now I just got to read them or read the first book, and I don't know, like it's hard to rate the book because I love the films, so I gave the book a 5-star rating. If I wouldn't like love Harry Potter overall, I don't know if the rating would be 5 stars, if I'm totally honest. I still gave it 5 stars because it's like, it could be a classic, literally love Harry Potter. I continued the month by reading Fourth Wing. As I said, this is probably the most talked book of 2023. I understand the hype. I was pretty scared to go into this book because of the hype. I was scared that like it would let me down, but it is basically, I would suggest you to go like into the book as blindly as possible. Is this camera focused on me? Fourth Wing. Loved it. It is basically about dragons and humans, and it is this like war college where there's like, it is kind of like Divergent in a way, if you know what I'm talking about. Like Divergent, they have different like sections. So in Fourth Wing there is the scribe quadrant, the rider's quadrant, and then the healer's quadrant, and then the fourth one, I can't remember what that one was called. Basically, Violet Sorrengale, who is the main character, her entire family except for her dead dad has gone to the rider's quadrant, so her mother, who is the general of things, wants her to go to the rider's quadrant, and she has her entire life prepared to go to scribe quadrant. And her like anatomy isn't kind of like the best for a rider because you need to stay on the dragons, etc. And I haven't read any books of like dragons before, but I enjoyed it a lot, and it was such a fast-paced book. I pre-ordered Iron Flame straight away when I finished this book, and the plot twists in this book, oh my god. I just, like, if you haven't read it yet, please read it. And I just love Xaden. But yeah, that's my verdict of the book. Read it if you haven't. After that, I continued on to Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. And I literally don't even know how many times I've had this book on my radar or on my TBR. But I finally got to it, and it broke me in ways that I didn't even think were possible. Honestly, what the heck? I have no words for this. It just... forever broken by this. I did a reading vlog on Magnolia Parks. You can go watch it if you want to. I'm thinking of doing a reading vlog on all of the books in this universe. So Daisy Hates will be the next one, and I just want to see what happens with Magnolia and BJ. Like literally pure love. Obviously it is toxic, so if you haven't read this, know that it is more toxic than you can even imagine. Like, I knew that it was toxic, but girl, I was surprised. But I obviously annotated it. It's basically Gossip Girl in London, just more toxic, and the end just threw me kind of off. I don't know, it just threw me off. But still kind of rooting that BJ would get back together with Magnolia. Obviously, I bawled my eyes out when I was reading this. You can see it in my reading vlog. Gave it 5 stars, kind of conflicted still. I don't know, 5 stars. Yeah. Did I say that I gave 5 stars to Fourth Wing? If I didn't, I gave it. So all of the books so far have been like 5 stars. And then I read, I read like really big books this month, except for the Harry Potter book. Like, these are larger paperback books, and they're still pretty hefty. Then I got into a big book. Binding 13. This is one book also very highly talked about. This isn't the normal paperback size if you compare these two. It has like 800 pages, and I literally just binged it. I loved Johnny, oh my god. I want myself a Johnny. Do you get me? I want myself one Johnny. And then Shannon, their story, very touching. I described this book like a comfort show, so comfort book. I don't know why, because it deals with heavy stuff, heavy topics about abuse and stuff like that. So check out the trigger warnings before you read this if you get easily like triggered about those things. I enjoyed the book. Like, if I'm being completely honest, it felt like a comfort book to me. And then obviously I started keeping 13 right after this one. I still haven't finished it. I just got kind of burnt out with reading so hefty books, because keeping 13 is also 800 pages. I got like 200 pages into that one, but it continues straight away after where Binding 13 left on, so it's basically one big book. You honestly don't get a lot of answers in this book. but I still enjoyed it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So basically all the books, because this is the last book I finished in October, all of the books 5 stars. What a great reading month, literally, what a great. A lot of crying, a lot of feelings, a great reading month. It's a real slow burn. That's what I'm going to say. It's a freaking slow burn. So if you don't like slow burns, maybe think twice of it. But honestly, even if you don't like slow burns, just pick it up and read something else while you read this one. Like, pick this up, then when you get like bored or whatever, burnt out, pick the other book up, because this story is literally like worth it. I don't know, it just, I love Johnny Kavanagh. I don't know even if I'm pronouncing the names right, but I love him. I don't know if he got anything out of my reviews, but these are basically the 3 physical books that I read. Obviously then I read the Harry Potter book. It was via Libby because I don't have the physical copy. These 3 physical books read, they're thick books. If you like my videos, I would highly suggest you to subscribe. There's going to be a lot of videos, a lot of interesting videos, if I say so myself, because I'm going to film Bookmas, so it'll be a heck of a lot, but I'm going to do it for you guys. So if you want to see that, subscribe or look my channel up. I'm going to do Bookmas from the 1st of December to the 12th. I'm not going to do the full 24 days. I'm going to do kind of as Destiny did last year, from the 1st to 12th, so half a month, because it is a lot. I hope we'll see you in the next one. Bye! But if I lay down and I play dead